joining us. It's a huge privilege to us as Mamelodi Sundowns, and also to there's a press statement, so your work should be much easier. There's a press statement. I wanted to distribute it this. Sundowns press conference I gave was in 2018. I wasn't aware of that. So I don't get involved in statements and press conferences, but of course when there's an important announcement or when there are problems, I have to make myself available. So what we are going to do is we're going to, it's not a long press statement, we're going to read it, and then just after I've read it, it will be circulated. Where's your cash? And then it's also going to go on WhatsApp. So they'll all get it on WhatsApp. Okay? All right. And special welcome, special welcome to Pizzo, special welcome, Jose Ramon. Hola. Hola. Hola, Jose Ramon. Okay. So I'm going to read it very quickly, and then we'll circulate it, and then you'll ask questions. Okay? Now, this is a media release, and of course, the key issue, if I start talking, then I'll be taking away from what is contained in here. So I'll read it, and then maybe spend a minute or two with a few summaries, and then we'll all take questions. So this is part of the Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary announcement. Now, what you must keep in mind that the plan was this is a year of what was supposed to be the Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary celebrations. Because of the coronavirus, we have changed that theme and that focus of a celebration to, and you will see, to a more developmental role that we will be playing and a program that we will be announcing, as well as a philanthropic. There are philanthropic initiatives that we'll be involved in, an upliftment, because these are very difficult times. We cannot be celebrating at a time when there's a huge amount of uncertainty, there's a huge amount of anxiety, there's a huge amount of insecurity. So we have a duty, because Mamelodi Sundowns is part of the communities, of the societies, and of the country, as well as the continent that we live in and that we work in. So you will see that at the heart of our plan for the year is to make a humble contribution, and that humble contribution is part of the announcement we made a few weeks ago about the 1 billion rand donation that the Motsepe family, in partnership with companies that the Motsepe family is associated with, and of course Sanlam and African Rainbow Minerals, as well as Mamelodi Sundowns, and African Rainbow Energy and Power, as well as Harmony, and various other companies, and of course the Motsepe Foundation that we are associated with. So the challenges of any given time puts a huge obligation and a duty on all of us to play a more developmental role, to try and deal with the challenges and the hardships that confronts our country and our people. there are many of our people who are at home who cannot go to work. There are many of our people whose businesses, particularly the township businesses, the rural businesses, the spaza shops, because many of our people who are at home and who don't have income and are not earning salaries and wages, they don't have the disposable income to buy the food and to the 50-year anniversary events and what is the program going to be about and the projects. And we will celebrate when the country is either at level 2, and of course we've got to comply with the rules and regulations of the country as set down by our government, or when the country is at level 1. So it's very, very important that and when we announced the interventions as far as COVID-19, in fact the contributions in relation to COVID-19, what we emphasized was at this stage the number one issue is to save lives. The number one issue, the prime focus and the prime obligation of all of us is to save the lives of our people. And the second obligation is to try and slow down and reduce the rate and over time stop the rate of coronavirus infections. Now, the other thing that's very important is you cannot overemphasize the importance of the lives of all our people in South Africa and on the continent, and the need to bring down and to eventually stop coronavirus. So that is a crucial objective that all of us are part of. But what is equally crucial, and this is what we hear from many of the leadership of the workers and many of the ordinary people who work in industries, in companies, as well as our minds. So what they are saying is, and we have to do it not just in partnership with them, but to a large extent under their leadership, because the workers know more than we do in terms of how our interventions and our partnerships can save lives. So, side by side with the primary focus of saving lives and bringing coronavirus to an end, we have to slowly and with the appropriate preventative measures, and you cannot overact, or you cannot do more than what is required in terms of slowly, in terms of the advice from our experts and scientists. In stages, open up the economy, because otherwise you will have widespread unemployment and widespread hunger. So all of us are part of this broader partnerships that are taking place in the country, and I do want to say that I am confident that South Africa and Africa, over time, we will overcome coronavirus, and we will continue to build the jobs, improve the living conditions and standards of living of all of our people, and build a healthy and bright future for all of our people. Okay, now, the document I'm going to go through very quickly, and then we will take questions. As I said, Pito is here the whole day to answer all the questions that you need, and so am I, and Jose, Ramon, Alashenko is here as well, and all of us will deal, because as I said, on my side, I must probably give 1 or 2 press conferences if it is to indeed per annum, because really they are much better qualified and much more experienced people at Mamelodi Sundowns, whose job it is to interact with the media and to make sure that we are as cooperative and as responsive as we should be. Okay, now, this allows me now to read even faster. Mamelodi Sundowns would like to thank and express its gratitude to all the frontline health workers, including nurses, doctors, and other healthcare workers who have been treating COVID-19 patients and all the other patients in South Africa and the African continent. Mamelodi Sundowns is part of the companies and organizations that are associated with the Motsepe family and that have contributed 1 billion rand to the fight against COVID-19. Now, we have already spent a huge amount of money, and there's nothing that is more encouraging and more stimulating than when you know that the PPEs, the masks, the personal protective equipment that is difficult to get hold of, and that has been difficult to get hold of because the whole of the world is in China. And of course, there's some good progress that's been made in the country because we are slowly trying to manufacture some of those personal protective equipment in the country. But as I said previously, I mean, a mask that would cost me 9 rands, a protective mask that would cost me 9 rands a few months ago, it cost 100 rands. It costs 120 rands. And the issue, they say, if you don't want it, another country will buy it. So what really is really encouraging is that a lot of the protective equipment that we bought are being distributed as we speak and have been distributed as we speak. And there's an ongoing obligation, and there's a lot of good work that's been done. But all of us have to be, we've got to be very careful because there's a paranoia on our side to make sure that there is not going to be a second wave. As we open up this economy, if you look at some other countries, there has been an increase. So we have to continue to make sure that a lot of the protective equipment is available. And that's, as I'm saying, and the health ministry is doing a good work, good job. Dr. Zweli Mkhize, the leadership of cabinet, as well as the leadership of our presidency, and of course the leadership of our president, in terms of the distribution of these protective. And I was looking at the list. You know, I was educated in the Eastern Cape. When I was 5 years old, I went to a boarding school in the Eastern Cape. And I spent 10 years in the Eastern Cape. So there's a huge obligation I have to that province. Of course, I've got an obligation to all of the provinces in the country. But it's really good to see that there are hospitals, there are clinics that have received the personal protective equipment. And of course, in my case, I have to consistently listen to what the workers and the leadership of the workers are saying, because when they say, but there are some areas where there is still a need, and when they say that there are some workers who haven't received this protective equipment, I think all of us are in this partnership under our ministry and with business, trying to make sure that there's not a single health worker who goes to work without appropriate protection. Sundowns was supposed to play a match against one of the top European football clubs as part of the 50-year celebrations. Now, we never make an announcement. I mean, the Barcelona thing leaked out, I'm talking about 2018 now. It leaked out when, of course, the discussions had gone a long way, and there were ongoing discussions. And when it leaked out, we had to respond. So, as part of our 50-year celebrations, Mamelodi Sundowns, we had very good discussions. Of course, it's confidential, so we can't. Don't try and ask me who they are, because we've got a confidentiality agreement, and with those that we've discussed, the answer is either we have, part of that is we haven't discussed or we can't comment. But the point is, we had great discussions as part of the 50-year celebrations to bring another top European club. But because of the coronavirus, that plan will not proceed. But we will continue our plan, and we will continue even next year. And of course, you'll see that the programs are going to be squeezed next year with the Olympics and with the European Champions, what do they call it? The European Nations Cup, which was supposed to take place, which has not taken place. So there's going to be tight. But as part of the strategy of Sundowns going forward, we are not just building a club, a football club for South Africa. You know, our primary focus is very clear. We are building a football club to be amongst the best in Africa. And you will see as I talk, that's partly why the good work that Patrice has done and the work that Jose Ramon Alashenko is doing is an area where we haven't always done well. One of the reasons why I was so proud of Patrice, the first day I employed him, he said, President, you know, we must look and also focus on our academy and get some of the young boys. And what people don't understand is we have produced some of the top young players in this country who are not playing for Sundowns. Because it is difficult to break into the Mamelodi Sundowns starting 11. So they play for other clubs, but they were trained at our academy. So that process is ongoing. We want to produce, and we are confident, in the medium to long term, our academy, as well as the infrastructure that we are building, will be amongst the best on the continent, and we will produce some of the best players in South Africa, and many of whom will play for Bafana Bafana. And it's appropriate for me to express my deep gratitude to the leadership of the PSL, to all the club owners, and all of the players and participants, managers, coaches of all the clubs. I mean, they are the heart and soul of football in this country, and they do excellent work. In football, we are what we are because of them. And of course, personally, there are other people who were there ahead of me. You know, other chairmen, other club owners whom I have the greatest amount of respect for. And also, it's appropriate to wish Kaiser Motaung and Kaiser Chiefs excellent 50-year celebrations, and I wish them all of the best. And as I've said previously, Kaiser is indeed in a class of his own. And we have to express our gratitude and pride to those who've made huge contributions whilst they're with us. And of course, Pagania Yakohai, Pagania Sekai, because the club Yagababa, Orlando Pirates. Koza has also done excellent work and continues to do excellent work, not just as chairman of the PSL, but also as chairman of my father's club. You know, I was born in Orlando, so they used to say, Uzoi favor ngengane, not you got them in and of course, we had to love all clubs. And so I'm just saying that, and of course, Danny Jordan and Safa, we've got to support, and all of the people in football have to work together, particularly in this challenging times. And I'm confident, I've got no doubt that Safa, the PSL, and all of the constituencies in football will work together. Listen, for me, football is not my number one focus. I love football, I'm passionate about football. My number one focus is unemployment. It's the poverty. It's the inequality. It's the hunger, lack of education, or even where there's education, not world-class education. And as I said, the Department of Education is doing great work. So those are the issues, because all of us have got different roles to play. Doctors must help us heal our people. You know, Peter must keep making the supporters happy, as he has in the past. And Jose Ramon must continue with the excellent work of the development. I mean, teachers must teach, and we are grateful, continue to teach. But as I said, for me as a businessman, I have a much broader obligation. And I'm not going to be judged by how many titles I've won, or how many times I've won the trophy. And I want another star, of course. It's for the supporters and for South Africa. But those things they make me happy, and I've always been a fanatic about football. But the key issues is the challenges of our country. It's the unemployment and the poverty and the need to create hope. Okay, so in the light of the current, so I'm finishing off with this and I'm not going to read that because I've spoken about it. Now, what is also very important today, what we are announcing, and I must thank my son. I don't know whether he's the one who came up with this brilliant idea that I'm going to talk about now. You know, a leader is only as good as the people around him, and good leaders listen and are guided by the people around them. I mean, I get credit when people say, "Hey, man, the president, that was a brilliant idea." It's not my idea. My ideas are the lousy ones. It's the ideas of the people around me. So let's, all of us, wherever we are, just keep on this culture of allowing people around us to advise and, of course, to criticize as well. Now, this is important. There are three important things we're announcing. Of course, the first one is to talk about the pandemic, because it's a critical issue. We'll get out of it. But we've got to have a medium to long-term view as to when we will get out of the coronavirus. It's not and you know, we've got to prepare ourselves for the long term, and we will overcome coronavirus. But the second issue is what I'm going to read now, which is important. Sundowns, in partnership with the Mamelodi Sundowns Foundation, is today announcing the Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary Most Popular Songs Challenge. Okay? Very important. And that will be launched in June 2020. Very, very important. So and you'll see, those at home and complying with coronavirus, we want to encourage people in our languages. In, you know, the Xhosa, Sotho, Zulu, Sotho, Tswana, I mean, Swazi. There's so much talent. So we want our people at home to compose songs. And there'll be prize money and keep them busy between now and the end of the year. In terms of the Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary Most Popular Songs Challenge, it's a challenge. So you can sit at home, respect coronavirus, keep social distancing, and still compose a song in Zulu, Sepedi, Siswati, Zulu, Xhosa. Beautiful. And the people will vote for it. In terms of the Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary Most Popular Songs Challenge, participants will be able to compose and produce songs in the 11 official languages of South Africa. And the public will be able to vote for their favorite songs. So, and the winning composers and producers, it can be Maskandi, it can be hip hop, it can be gospel music, whatever. Sorry? Namapiano. So all of the different music and types of our country, because we want the talent of in relation to music, because in this context we're about football and music to come to the fore. And as I said, the beauty also is the songs in our languages. Of course, English as well, and Afrikaans as well. Okay? So this whole Mamelodi Sundowns 50th anniversary Most Popular Songs Challenge will be officially launched in June, and we'll give you more information. The highlight. So what's going to happen is people will vote, as I said, and every month, in every one of our 11 official languages, the most popular song will receive 20,000 rands, as voted for by the public. The highlight of the Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary Most Popular Songs Challenge will be the prize money for the 7 most popular songs. So we're giving prize money for the 7, in line with our side, Ola 7. Okay? For the 7 most popular songs as voted for by the public throughout the year, which will be awarded at the Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary banquet to be held in December. So we are hoping that by December, we should be at least at level 2, and then we can have this banquet. And of course, the plan is at that banquet, we are going to invite some very exciting former players from the African continent. I don't want to mention any names, to come there, because part of our main focus is the continent. So at that banquet in December, when we will be announcing the 7 winners, some of our special guests will include these. And of course, it doesn't matter. Peter must close his ears now, because I'm going to say something that's not for his ears. It doesn't matter whether we win the league or not. Open your ears again, Peter. These celebrations are ongoing. Okay? And of course, we do want the league. He knows that. We have to win the league for the supporters. But these whole celebrations must continue, because it's part of where we come from, and it's also part of where we are going. Now comes the prize money for the 7 most popular songs. The prize money is as follows. The first prize, as voted for by the public, will get 700,000 rands, in line with our 7 sign. So, and I wish, and I'm almost confident it's going to be in one of our languages. I hope so. And it will be even excite me more if it comes from people in the rural areas, of course in Soweto as well. But it could be anybody. But the song must be about Sundowns. And this competition is not only for Mamelodi Sundowns supporters, it's for everybody. I was told that be careful, because those who support other clubs may make songs about Sundowns which are popular, which are very funny. So it's fine. It's part of the excitement. So the second prize will get 400,000. The third prize will get 300,000. The fourth prize will get 250,000. The fifth prize will get 200,000. The sixth prize will get 150,000. And the seventh prize will get 100,000. Now, in our culture, I mean, some of you have been to, when we sometimes we say goodbye to somebody who is a great leader. And then at the events and the ceremony, they always say, we are here to celebrate. We are all sad that we've lost a special person, but we're also here to thank him and to celebrate his unique contributions. So in our culture, we use music. Music when we are happy, and music when we are not happy, or when we are sad. And we also use music when we want to inspire. So Mamelodi Sundowns is, in partnership with the Mamelodi Sundowns Foundation, in a humble way is trying to use, and as I said, in this very difficult time. So when you sit at home and you've now watched TV, and you think that you've seen all of the games where Sundowns was losing, you've had enough of them, and you've read what you're supposed to read, and you can't go out as often as you'd like to. Just compose a song, and put it on video and send it, and it will be voted, and you could get 700,000 rands. And it's part of, as I said, we also have to keep the spirits of our people high, motivated, and say, of course, these are difficult times, but we'll come out of this strong and better before. The president of Mamelodi Sundowns, Dr. Patrice Motsepe. Where's the president? Chops. Okay. The president, and the president said, the Mamelodi, you see, my wife is not here. Usually when I'm with her, she reads these things, The Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year celebrations most popular song challenge enables us to continue promoting and supporting football and music. And what is exciting about the challenge is that it also specifically promotes African traditional and cultural music. Amazing. And of course, also in the Khoisan language, because we've got 2 languages, Khoisan languages, which are recognized. So they as well must, we would like them to. Can you imagine a song about Sundowns in the Khoisan language? Beautiful. Now let me see. Have I read that now? The Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary most popular song challenge seeks to involve and encourage the youth, football and music lovers in South Africa and on the continent who are at home and while complying with the COVID-19 lockdown regulations to compose and produce songs in all the official languages and which will be voted for by the public. Okay, we're going towards end. This whole project that we are announcing today is designed on what is called reality show type format, where individuals register and participate in a national song competition. Participants will have to provide some basic details, so that if Pizzo composes a song which is very popular, if he doesn't provide these details, then I can claim that that's actually my song. So we have to have these details. Participants will have to provide some basic details, followed by the recording of this unique song. SABC TV and radio as well as MTN, have been identified as our partners. Now, I've got a quote here from the chief executive of MTN, very quickly, and then we close. MTN is has a long-standing relationship with Sundowns, and we are delighted to be the technology partner of Mamelodi Sundowns 50-year anniversary most popular songs challenge. MTN helps connect our customers to the people and things they love, and we know that football remains a passion for so many across the nation. The legacy of Sundowns weaves a rich color into the history of South African football, and we are excited to be part of this challenge that will encourage creativity and a sense of fun for South Africans as we continue to fight this pandemic together. This is what Godfrey Motsepe, the CEO of MTN, said. And then he continues to say, we hope friends and families will have lots of fun developing their songs, and we look forward to providing the platform on which they will be showcased. Now comes the last thing. And this is the thing that all of you have been, I must say, I've been amused in the media about Pitso's contract and all sorts of exciting things. And so let's go to that. Mamelodi Sundowns is also pleased to announce that it has renewed the contract of its head coach for a further 4 years. The president of Mamelodi Sundowns, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, said, "I am very happy that the board of Mamelodi Sundowns has decided to renew the employment contract of our very own Sir Alex Ferguson." He is my Sir Alex Ferguson. Because I've always said I want to keep him as Sundowns. And of course I've got a board and I've got to listen, and the beauty of boards is when people have got all sorts of views. But I know what my view has always been, and of course I have to listen and get advice because there are many things I don't see, and that sometimes I make mistakes. So I'm very excited. I said to him, of course we are going for 4 years, but if I had it up to me, if it was up to me, I'd like to have him at least for, what did I say? I said 8 years or something. So we'll see. Because the danger with that is, you may like somebody, but in fact, I would be proud if Pitso coached. I've told you this in the past. It's like Pesitao. You see, you've got to allow people to grow, man. Zungu, Keegan Dolly, and various others. This gives us proud. It makes us proud that our own South Africans who've been part of us are now at the highest level in the world. So I've said many years ago when they were talking about Bafana and all sorts of things and going overseas, it would make us proud if, at the right time, there's the exciting opportunity and Pitso go and coaches at a higher level, La Liga or wherever. But in the meantime, I'm going to do everything possible to keep him here. And I want to make his life miserable by making sure that if he gets another offer from I don't know where else, I said, did you look at those numbers correctly? And of course, in the interest of Sundowns and as president, we will do, and I will do all that I can to make sure that we pay him. And we pay Alashenko, Jose Ramon, and everybody very good competitive salaries, because good people don't have to pay for us, don't have to work for us. My apologies. So you must keep them, and it's not just you must respect them and they must be motivated, but it's also about making sure that when it comes to the bottom line, we are competing against their salaries. We are competing against the best in the world. I'm very proud of Pitso's achievements at Sundowns. And I am also confident that Pitso, the technical team, I'm proud of Mangoba, I'm very proud of Wendell, I'm proud of Cabello, I'm proud of Pitandrovu, we've employed Kagiso as well. And I'm also excited, we've got some of our young, Jose Ramon, I'm also proud of Jose Ramon, and I'm proud of Zigo, exceptionally proud of Zigo, as well as all of the great people we have at Sundowns. Of course, I'm proud of you as well, Gray, man. You do good work. There was somebody as the president who cheating have got and as I said, I'm very proud that all of them and the players will make Sundowns one of the best football clubs on the African continent. If you win in Africa, you are more likely to win the league in South Africa as well. But the opposite is not true. You can win the league in South Africa on an ongoing basis and not win in Africa. So we are also learning that to win in Africa requires a fundamentally different approach and strategy and frame of mind. Mamelodi Sundowns has got exciting short to medium term objectives and goals to achieve, which includes building a world-class youth academy, scouting department and management team, investing in our youth to enable them to play for the senior team, and Bafana is an important objective of our medium to long-term plans. We are also excited that Jose Ramon Aleshenko, who played and captained FC Barcelona. I know that Jose Ramon captained Barcelona. I didn't know he was captain of Barcelona. And that's not Barcelona in Soweto or Mamelodi. Barcelona in the real Barcelona. He was captain of it, you guys, for 8 years. Unbelievable. For many, many years, at the highest level in the world. He has joined the Mamelodi Sundowns Academy as the head of the technical department. He was the director of football at. He was the head of the academy at Barcelona Football Club. He was also the director of football at Valencia, the La Liga club. The youth academy as well as the senior team will benefit immensely from his vast experience and expertise. So he's a resource, both for the academy but also for the senior team. Very, very important. Now I'm finished now. We as the Mamelodi Sundowns family have a duty to be part of the difficulties and hardships that confronts all our people, and we were honored to make a humble contribution with many other South Africans and Africans to the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. We are confident that South Africa and the African continent will over time overcome the coronavirus pandemic and continue to create jobs, improve the living conditions of the poor, and build a healthy and bright future for all Africans. Now, so that has come to an end now. And I'm going to ask Pitso to say a few things, make a few remarks, and then we'll ask Jose Ramon through Upegi to also make. I think, Pitso, you may have to take it down, Okay. And I think when he talks, make a few remarks, and then we'll ask Jose Ramon to make a few remarks, and then of course we'll answer questions. I'm told we'll also have food here later. And if the food is lousy, let us know, because then somebody's bonus is going to be reviewed. We have to pay bonus, but it may be diminished a bit. So there's food left, and we'll be around to take questions, and then I have to leave, and then the media will. And then where is Shupi? And many of our other people are here. Excellent work, Shupi. Okay, so I'll ask my head coach to make a few remarks.
Thank you, President.
Where's the? Oh, you want? But you see, there's coronavirus. Let him come next to his. Let's push it closely. Come, guys. I'm told I mustn't touch these things because of my hands may infect them. So what I suggest is, why doesn't he come nearer? Yeah. Come, you know what? Just pull your chair. Yeah. No, he can't change seats with me because I've got a big overdraft. I can't leave him with my overdraft. Okay. Let's pull that chair just a little bit, and then I'll stand the same. No. It's okay. Come. Let him stand there. Okay, that's fine then. That. So just turn them around a little bit. Okay, good. Excellent. Very good. And when Jose Ramon speaks, very good. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, everybody. President, normally in our culture, when you have spoken, we shouldn't speak. I thought I'll speak before you, but you allow me and you gave me permission to speak after you. I'm humbled. Thank you. I just want to. Mine is just to thank everybody and everybody's contribution to where we are. Mine is not to I think the president has made a lot of important speeches and important information and messages that really are more about food, more about our lives and saving lives than more talking about football. I think football comes after the lives have been saved, and the president has elaborated a lot on that. And thank you for that, President. Yeah, first I just want to greet Dumela Masandawana. I'm pleased to confirm that I've signed a 4-year contract with a club that I dearly love. Firstly, I want to thank the president of the club, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, and the board for the confidence that they've shown in me and in trusting me with the team for the additional 4 years after being with the club for the past 7.5 years. I also want to thank my technical team and the players, to thank them for the hard work, support, and the commitment that they've put in their last 7.5 years. All of the successes we have had would never be there or could never be achieved without them. We are going to up the gear and challenge ourselves for the next 4 years to reach greater heights, because we believe the sky is the limit and we can still do well. We can still do better. I'd further like to thank my agent Moira Tlhagale, which is my manager also, and our legal advisor, Mr. Eric Mabuza of the Mabuza Attorneys, for ensuring that these contract negotiations were successfully delivered. I want to thank my family also for all the consistent support and tolerating me during this the last 7.5 years. I want to thank the Masandawana family, the Yellow Nation, the nation that makes the noise, the nation that inspires us at the stadiums week in, week out. Thank you for the love and the support for the past 7.5 years. Thank you for the support during the good and the challenging times. Please know that I don't take this contract that's been renewed for granted. And I feel blessed and honored to be part of the big family of the Yellow Nation. I believe the best is still yet to come, and we are still going to be celebrating more trophies. Last but not least, I would like to thank God for this opportunity and the gift of doing what I love most, which is football and coaching soccer and educating football players. I promise to work even harder so that our team can reach greater heights. And in Sundowns, I believe we will not stop, President, until we deliver the second star. And thank you for the opportunity.
So we'll just ask Jose Ramon just to make 2 or 3 remarks. And then Becky will translate, okay? So that's why I was saying, I mean, I was amused with the issues in a bit. You know, just take it out. It's out of the slide. Thank you. Okay. Jose Ramon.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias, presidente. Felicidades, coach. Yo creo que las pocas palabras que puedo decir en estos momentos es un poco la historia que yo he tenido un poquito con el presidente.
I'm actually great. Thank you to everyone. First and foremost, the president, and also congratulations to the coach. In as much as I'm actually healthy, I would like to share some remarks as well with the history.
So, social distancing and managing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, because you're not wearing your mask. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. No, take it off.
Sí, fue una historia en la que, bueno, se me presentaba un reto importante, sobre todo por la distancia, pero que sí tenía conocimiento de lo que había sido a través de un amigo común, que es Jan Laporta, el presidente del Barcelona, y el cual me dijo que andaban buscando un director de academia y un director técnico, y que yo podía ser el hombre que él necesitaba para el Mamelodi Sundowns.
Okay, with the remarks, they go with the common interest that we have, and then with the friend that we have in common, which is Laporta. Then we have the communication on a long-term basis.
Laporta is the former president of Barcelona.
Yes. The former president of Barcelona, Laporta. So he actually shared his interest on what he wants in as a technical director who would be suitable for the club. And then we had an ongoing conversation with him. And I'm also happy that we have had to meet and also to be part of the club, that I can actually share my experience.
Yo, en principio, no es mi venida está condicionada a llevar una academia o llevar o estar en el primer equipo. Mi llegada aquí está condicionado a los cambios, a cambiar, a crear una academia, a mejorar, a colaborar con el coach en el primer equipo, y a partir de ahí creo que con toda la experiencia y con la estructura que hemos montado en otros equipos, yo creo que aquí también podremos hacerlo, porque lo que tenemos desde el presidente hasta el último fans que tenga el Mamelodi Sundowns es importante para mí.
We are now distributing the press statement. It has gone there as well, eh? So distribute it on WhatsApp and distribute it to all of the people in the media, okay? So that all of you, everything that we said, and you know, if you miss something during the discussions, you can just take it from the press statement, okay? So just raise your hands and we'll give you a copy of the press statement.
Okay, it is of my interest that I did.
Can you please ask my driver not to take one? Because he likes it. He says, President, I must have my one. I'll give you my one, please.
Okay, he's actually fortunate to be here, but the ultimate goal is not that I'm here to bring a change, to bring a change, but I'm here to develop a change, to develop a relationship, also a cooperation with the first coach, and to develop an academy that will be what the president actually wants from us. It is also that interest within me that I'm here to work hard and to be that so that all the fans of the club are also happy with the job that you have to do.
Yo estoy muy contento en estar aquí. Creo que todo este tiempo me ha valido para irme adaptando a lo que es la cultura, la infraestructura, todo de lo que es el Mamelodi Sundowns, ¿no? A partir de aquí creo que empezamos a trabajar. Tenemos que trabajar muy fuerte, muy duro, y sobre todo eso, que nuestra experiencia sirva para tener al Mamelodi Sundowns en academia y en el primer equipo en el máximo nivel.
Okay, as I've said before, the ultimate goal is that I'm actually happy first foremost to be in the club. I also like the culture and how I interacted with all the staff members and the board. I'm so happy to be with the club, and also it is also the importance for me that I will be here. I'm here to do. We have a huge job to do to develop the academy and also make the best team in the continent, in the country. Thank you.
Okay.
Nada más, gracias a todos por la presentación, por estar aquí, y nada, estaremos mucho tiempo, esperemos estar mucho tiempo juntos.
There's nothing more to add. I'm just fortunate and actually want to thank you and to everyone that is here as well.
Muchas gracias,
A todos, gracias.
José Ramón. Pito, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, muchas gracias.
Zigo, muchas gracias. Okay. Okay, now we are in your hands. Let's clap hands, please. Okay. We are in your hands. Ask whatever questions you want, and then we'll answer. And I know that I was asked that I think it's some of the TV stations have asked for very specific interviews, and we are all available. I'm available. The coach is available, and Jose Ramon. So today is we are talking only all the positive, all the good things. And if you've got questions to ask that are close to good, it's fine. If those are not so close to good, it's also fine. Okay, so who's the first one to ask a question?
Okay, we've got a question from C.S. Duplessis to Coach Pito. He says, how does Coach feel about resuming football in the near future and playing behind closed doors?
But when you do such wonderful work on TV, now I see, you know. I was confused with this mask, you know.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Coach Pito. Yeah. The mics, you need the mics.
It's a big challenge.
Oh, you want to take this? Okay, you know what we'll do? Let's write down all the questions, and then the people that they are addressed to will deal them, because otherwise we're going to go up and down. Let's take the first 5, okay? All right, but you can also ask questions here. You know, you don't have to ask questions only on the website. I mean, this is the essence of a... If anybody is here as a question, please go ahead. Ask, and we'll write it down, and then we'll rotate, okay? Yeah, and just introduce yourself, yeah? I know who you are.
From the SABC. President, after several months of uncertainty, whether Pito is staying at the club or not, what was the bone of contention? What caused the delay, for today's announcement to give him another contract?
Okay. You see, I only answer the easy questions, Sifiso, thanks for the wonderful question. There was never an issue as to whether Pitso is going to stay at Sundowns or not. Pitso came to see me last year, and because it's very important, his contract ends sometime this year. So he came to see me and said, President, you've always said to me that you want me to grow old at Mamelodi Sundowns. And I just want you to know that the confidence that you've shown, and I want to continue with the club. So there was never any doubt at all in my mind. But let me tell you what is important as well. What is also important is every club, in business there's this terminology called to be hit by the bus. I can get out of here and I'm hit by a bus, and if I'm lucky I'll be maybe in a coma for 12 months or I don't know. But in the meantime, somebody else has to do the work. So every organization has to have a credible, ethical succession plan. So, we've got exceptional people within Mamelodi Sundowns, and usually, of course, we've got to open up the whole process to everybody else, all the other coaches worldwide who may be interested. So there was never an issue, and that's part of the problem as well. Exactly because there is such a good understanding and a good commitment by both parties, they tend to neglect and take longer than what should be in terms of concluding the agreement. So you're absolutely correct. And of course, what you must understand is Pitso is a very special coach. Quite apart from being a good coach, he's somebody that I like immensely. So, the money has to be, you can't pay Pitso what you used to pay him when he started. You can't even pay him the same money that you used to pay him before he won the Champions League. You really now have to go and go to the bank and extend your overdraft. And but I can tell you, every cent that we are spending and will continue to spend in Pitso, I'm very confident that it's money well spent. But he'll comment on that later. But thanks for that good question. Yes, question in the back? Yeah. Introduce yourself.
Joseph from Sports.
Josie Sports.
Joseph from Sports.
Okay.
President,
and as I said, Pitso is writing down SFs. We have Palu Pitso nine. Also, Shire must fix that. Okay.
President, Coach Pitso has been taunted by a whole lot of big teams
Absolutely.
throughout the continent and even outside. I'm sure the pressure has been raised by that, although the president might have not already mentioned it by now. But how good does it feel to you, or what does it mean to you to have a coach who is probably the best coach in South Africa to be wanted by external teams in the continent and outside of the continent? And with the 4 years that the president has actually extended, are you looking at talking through before the 4 years is finished to avoid the situation that has just happened?
Yeah, but I want to repeat, there was no situation, and this is very important. If Sundowns didn't want Pitso to work at Sundowns, we'd have told him long ago. If Pitso didn't want to work at Sundowns, we'd have replaced him long ago. You see, this is what happens when you've got an intimate relationship at club level, and a relationship of where there's a deep commitment. You tend to take longer than you should. And I agree with you. Any employee, whether you are a coach or a CEO or a businessman or a taxi driver or a nurse or a doctor, if you do well, you should attract interest from others, and it makes us proud. And of course, I've always said that if Pitso gets better offers, whether it's in North America, North America, whether it's in North Africa or in Europe, he must take that offer. Because if Sundowns is not prepared to compete and to pay him a competitive salary, it means it's like a player. I mean, we've got players all the time who come. I mean, we've got an abnormal list of players now who are all expressing interest at Sundowns. And some of them want crazy, crazy money. So we've got to make a decision as to whether, in our mind, is the player or is Pitso worth the money that he wants? And partly why it took so long is because I was told I must stay out of these things. Because I was the problem, which is correct. I would most probably give him any money he wants. And that's partly why, just to go to Sifiso's question, a good leader must have people around him who can say, but President, we think you are making a mistake here. And then you say, okay, fine, tell me why. But my problem is of course, that, if my son comes to me and say, I want a car, I don't know, I want certain money, you want to see him happy. I don't want to talk about my wife because that's even worse. You want her to be happy. A happy wife is a happy family. So I always, and thank God that I've got people around who said, but you've got a soft spot for Pitso. And then he changed. No, you've got a big, you like Pitso. How can I not like him? He's one of us, man. And he's done exceptionally well. So bottom line, and be careful. If you don't pay people, not just, I'm talking about, I know, some of the best people that I have the privilege to work with. If I don't pay them well, I'm going to lose them. And don't let somebody come and say, no, it's not about the money. It's not true. An employee can come to work every day and say, hey, we love you so much, but we're not going to pay you what you're worth. You've got to attend to both. You've got to treat them with the respect and dignity they deserve, and more importantly, you've got to treat them in a way that in their mind, not mine, not ours, they feel that this is the best place in the world for me to work. And you can't pretend to love people. You will pretend sometimes they'll catch you out. You can't pretend to value somebody. So just be yourself, and then you'll. So that's what I'm saying. I never had any doubt. And we just gossip amongst ourselves, and you don't report this. It's just amongst us. Actually, we had an agreement last year already, Pitso, né? Yeah. And then some of the board members said, but President, carefully here, man. And correct. But I think all of us have done the right thing. So all I'm saying is that I'm very, very happy, because you must also realize that Mamelodi Sundowns is from South Africa and has to play a role to make us proud in Africa. You see, I look at things always, I have to, in a broader context. To go and give me another PSL title, it's for the supporters. But we have to grow to the next level and the next level. We want Sundowns to be in the finals of the FIFA World Club Champions competition in the world. We want Bafana to be the dominant football club in Africa. And that will happen because football in South Africa is world class. We want some of our young boys here. And of course young girls, because we're also spending a lot of money on the Sundowns team is doing excellent work to go overseas. So it's part of, you've got to look at the role of Sundowns within this developmental obligation. I've spoken more than I should. Next question. Pitso is writing down those questions that are aimed for him. And when I'm finished, he will answer them. Next question.
Mr. President, the question from Motsepe of Newsroom Africa. He says, how has COVID impacted business or the business models at Sundowns?
At Sundowns. Okay. I'll answer that one later. I want to focus on the ones that are aimed at Pitso so that I can. I'll answer that at the end. I just want to take the Pitso. You must remind me, I want to focus on the Pitso one so that I can hand him and he can talk. Okay. What other question is there for me that has to do with Pitso? Yes, Chief.
From
From the Star.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. President, we
Keep up the good work, all of you in the media.
Thank you, Mr.
We need to, particularly now when we're at home, you know. I become a nuisance if of course I've got work to do and documents to read. But just to refresh, I have to read newspapers, you know. Okay?
The question is, Mr. President, with the league likely to go beyond June the 30th, whereby some of the players will have their contracts actually having expired. So are there discussions already to keep some of the players that have their contract coming to an end by the end of June?
Yeah, very important. Of course, we will continue paying salaries, eh? And whether there's football or no football, we will continue to pay everybody who works for us the salaries as if there was no coronavirus. It's an obligation we have to them. And Yogesh has done excellent work, and so has Kenneth, and so has Sizwe, and the rest of the technical team. All of the players who are part of our plans for the future, we feel comfortable the good work has been done. Part of the challenge is there are 2 players we are chasing, man, who are not in South Africa. And the problem is, when you chase, and of course you're going to read all sorts of things, but it's part of this plan for the future. The plan for the future, and you don't have a better person. I personally cannot find a better person to lead the next few years than our own Sir Alex Ferguson. Just now they're going to say Sir Pitso Musimane. So we have those duties to make sure that, you know what mine workers say to me? Mine workers say, Chairman, please help us when there are difficult times. We will remember it when there are good times. So we've got to be there for all our people during the difficult times. It's good for us. It's in our interest. Okay? Next question. Okay, whilst you are thinking, I'm going to pass on to Pitso. Will we do that same dance, the Brazilian dance that we did? The samba. And then Pitso will answer some of those questions. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just, yeah. Now, what's in the background here? Pitso. Yeah, just take that one. Yeah, just, that's right. Because our sponsors keep complaining. They say, President, you talk, but we can't see our background. And when we need more money from them, they say, we can't give you more money because the background doesn't allow us to market ourselves. Okay? So Pitso will answer the first question. And whilst he's there, please ask him any other questions that relates to him. And then I'll deal with this question, Lidwin. Yeah. I like the colors you are wearing. Eh? It comes very close, you know.
I think the question was how are we going to deal with football when we're coming back or during the preparation for COVID-19. I don't know if is that what was the question, or you can rephrase it if I've misrepresented you.
Coach, the question was with the league likely to go beyond June 30th, whereby a number of players have their contract having run out. Is there a plan already to negotiate them to extend their contract for 30% of time, or they will be released as immediately when their contracts expire?
Yeah, but I think you know about this more than me. I think FIFA has engaged all the footballers federations in the world to say that if you have to finish the league that was not finished, they will grant you that permission to go longer with the player, even if the contract is expired. Because now, if you have to lose all the players that the contract has expired, then it means you have to bring in new players. So it can be chaotic. So I think that's the answer.
Yeah. And answer to Fisho's...
What's Fisho saying?
The delay that...
But the president has addressed it.
Now back from your side.
He's the same. I mean, do you want me to contradict the president now? I mean, we are moving in the same direction. And by the way, Fisho, there is nothing different from what the president has said. I can repeat what he said if you want. And you don't want me to waste your time, am I right?
Ask him another question. If Kubeka Mpuz, Esfis, I'm shying any food. Oh, okay, all right. Just my apologies, just a bit louder.
I remember when we spoke to you, was it earlier this year or last year?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that the contract with Sundowns is at 80%.
Yeah.
Looking at what you achieved at the team, unbelievable. With the extension of the contract, what is it that keeps you going and want to achieve more? Yes, you mentioned the issue of another star, but what keeps Simane grounded and want to achieve more at Sundowns after achieving so much?
Very good question, and I'm not going to interrupt because I'm far from the speaker. That's one of the questions. You've got to keep him. Very good question.
Well, Tsepo, I think if I was listening very carefully to the president, or you were listening carefully to the president, on the statements that he has done before, that the famous quote that he has always said that he wants me to be the electrician of the club, and he had no doubt in keeping me here. That's one of the main reasons why I'm here, because if you have confidence from the president of the club and from the board that you must stay at the club, I mean, you don't need anybody else to confirm that. That's one of the points. But there are many contributing facts. I mean, the Yellow Nation, I mean, those guys are singing at the top of their voices. They have really humbled me. And how do you drop those people? How do you just go? You can't just stand up and go because somebody else is interested in you. You got to think, and you got to have your conscious mind proper, and you got to weigh these things to say some decisions you don't make them because they suit you as an individual. You cannot be selfish. You also have to understand that there are people involved, there are emotions involved in this thing, and people have really, to be honest, have honored me and humbled me in this club. And I always said one thing: why do you leave a place where you are loved? So I've got no reason to leave to another place where I'm loved, because sometimes you think the grass is greener on the other side. And I've always told you, never change my statement to say I want to stay at the club that I feel I'm loved. And there's never be a contradictory statement to say there's an offer there because of that. No, it has been like that up till today, and you all know that.
Next question. Yes. As I said, just proceed the questions that are aimed at the coach. Eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Motsepe, Power FM.
Motsepe.
Power FM.
Yes.
Over the Medisha Kamukako Power FM. But the Amsumo votes.
Thank you. Coach, you always said your contract was 80% done.
Yeah.
And you were still talking about the 20%.
Yeah.
Now that it's signed,
yeah.
Are you at liberty to divulge what the 20% was?
Yeah.
How did you navigate?
Yeah, Motsepe, you're coming with a curveball. But what is important is...
Let me help you.
Okay.
The contract between him and the president was never 80%. It was always 100%.
Yes.
But of course we have to, but the president is not the board. He's part of the board. So we have to, so I think it's correct. The 20% was in relation to making sure that, and it's partly related to Tsepo's question, because sometimes when you've achieved, you have to be satisfied that there's still that hunger. And and when I go to the game and I look at Pizzo in the eyes and I see what's happening, you talk about 100%, he makes me think about 200%. Anyway, but continue.
Yes, and I must get, I get it with contracts. What's happening in contracts is confidential. Also, you cannot let it on the public. So those things that you know yourselves, that we cannot say everything, because agreements on the contract are between an employer and employee. You cannot divulge more.
So even if you can't divulge, Coach, but how did you navigate? Even if you don't mention the specifics, but how did you? Because clearly it took too long to get to the 20% as compared to the 80%. So how did you navigate this 20%?
No, when you have faith and you believe and trust, everything will fall in. Because when there's no doubt, everything will follow. And I've always told you, I don't have a doubt and a different opinion that I might not be at Mamelodi Sundowns. I always said that. I believe that I will be here, and I've always been positive. So that's where we are.
Yes.
From Sunday Times.
Sunday Times.
Yeah, a question for the coach and the president.
I should have bought Sunday. Sorry.
Coach, are you keeping your technical team as it is, or are you going to improve it in this 4 years? And also for the president, when you last spoke to us, you said you're going to move everything at the Sundowns to Mamelodi. Just the update on that, is it still happening, or are you going to stay where you are?
All right. Go ahead.
Do you want me to?
Yeah,
okay.
respond.
Sundowns is growing as a club. Expectations are growing. We're going for the next 4 years. The pressure is growing. We need to see if are we in a position to deal with what is expected or the demand, what is coming. And if we feel the demand, we can handle the demand with what we have, we'll continue that. But we are not going to be shy to make sure that we strengthen when the time and the pressure needs be. So we will engage you in this because, as you know, our program at Mamelodi Sundowns is totally different from any other team in the PSL. And not last year, but for the last 6 years we've been in the Champions League. So our program is totally different. So we need to respond to what the demands of the game says. And the demands that are coming are not what you see on the pitch. The demands are also off the pitch. We've got traveling to do. We've got a lot of traveling to do, and we get wiser, we get experience, we know where we went right, where we went wrong. How do we do that? Even with the players, we always evaluate, and we make mistakes because we are human beings. And I've made a lot of mistakes, to be honest, you know. But the thing is, don't do many more mistakes than getting the right things, you know. Try and get right things more than the mistakes. So the team is bigger. The president has just told you that he wants the team back in the Club World Cup. So we need to say, what is the situation? Who are we facing? What are the demands saying? The competition has changed. I mean, I think you've seen that the Champions League that we were at now was the biggest ever since. Because you have everybody who was in this tournament who have won the star once or twice. It was the first time in history. Last time we've been having other people coming in and you can do it. Last year was not didn't have all these big names. We managed to go to the semi-finals. You know, we needed one goal to go to the final. And when you're in the final, you might as well as win it. You know, we believe so. But the demands are more, and we need to be flexible, and we need to be humble and really and appreciate that, hey, it's not the same as last year. The competitions are becoming tougher. The teams are getting more stronger. And I think you have realized that now. The defense of the opponents in South Africa, when we play against any team against Mamelodi Sundowns, we're playing half the ground. It's half the ground. We're playing on the other side. So we're being caught by counter-attacks because we have to win and we must win, and we are pressurizing and we have to break the wall, you know, and the compact defense. So we need to improve, and if we have get more personnel, and I'm talking about players and technical, that can help us to deal with the modern, to bring modern trends of football, because football evolves all the time. Football after COVID-19 is not the same, you know that. It's not the same. Everything is going to change. So are we equipped for that? We have to make sure that we equipped for that, because we have to make sure that the health issues in the club are proper and are related to what you see. And you can see what's happening in the world. Bundesliga has already started, and you have seen what has happened in England. They have already started, and some players got COVID-19 after being back into the team and stuff after they coming back to this thing. So we have to learn from those things. In Germany it hasn't happened. In England it has to happen. So we have to bring medical practitioners who will always help us. We have to abide to what the government says. We have to abide to what the PSL says. So everything will be changed. So do I think that we need more people? Of course, we will need more people to deal with. I'm not talking about football only, to deal with the situation where we are in this space. It's not an easy space.
I'm told, we'll take a few more questions, and as I said, we'll be around, and you know, you can ask us. I can't sing the 11 languages. And Pito will do some, and Jose Ramon Alashenko, your question? So let me start with the lady, sorry. Yeah.
Thanks.
If the lady is next to you, you'll always be in trouble. You'll always lose.
Coach Pito Tolangele Mganga from Eyewitness News. In the last decade, you've gone from kind of being hounded out of Bafana Bafana to now being the top man in South African and probably African football. What has that journey been like for you, where you sit here now and you've got the president calling you the Sir Alex Ferguson of the club?
Yeah, Tolangele, it's a difficult question, but you know, the foundation or the answer I should give you is that I think you read my statement that God bless. We should thank God for the support and the blessings of helping us to do what we do most, and make no mistake, because you guys speak about it. Where we are at Mamelodi Sundowns, we could not get there without the help and support and of the resources we have, and we have the support from the president of the club. It's a fact that we have the big support from the president of the club to get more players, to get more personnel, to make sure that we deal with what is in front of us. What is in front of us is a difficult task. To win the Champions League is very difficult. Look at in South America. Which team has won the Champions League repeatedly? The Copa Libertadores? Not many. Look at in Europe. Only Real Madrid has been there. We have Barca, we have Bayern, we have Juve, we have Man City, we have all these big clubs. Where are they? Why they don't win the Champions League in the last 4 or 5 years? Because it's not an easy tournament. Even in Champions League, unluckily. You know when was Al-Ahly won the Champions League, and you know the expenses, do you know the expectations, do you know the pressure there? Zamalek, Raja. It's not easy to win it. Esperanza has been the team that has been consistent, but this thing is going to change again. It's very difficult. So for me, to answer your question is, I'm just humble to say that God has been there. The board has been there, has been supported me. I always manage to get the players that I think should fit into the team and continuity. It's very important to do that, keeping my technical team consistent and always opening my eyes and ears to what's happening in the world of football. In the world of football, you change, you make sure that you soften the soul. Because once you can say, oh, we won the Champions League in 2016, we haven't won it, and it's 2020 now. You know, it's 4 years, if you can really be honest. And are we trying? Yes. We went out in the quarterfinals, we went out in the semi-finals. We have done it, but it means we need more. But to answer your question directly, it's just humility, and I thank God for what I have and all the support that I've been saying from the players, from the president, from the board, to make this happen. No one in life can do everything alone. Everybody gets supported. Even Pep Guardiola can never win the Champions League. He's still struggling to win the Champions League ever since he won it in Barca. Ancelotti, he's still struggling ever since he won it at Madrid. Jurgen Klopp, he won it once in his lifetime. We can mention all these big coaches. Mourinho, he has won it. When last has he won it? So we have to have humility and understand that as long as you keep digging and checking and trying to fix these things, you got to keep fighting. I mean, you can never tell me Juve doesn't want the trophy from the coach. Man City doesn't want the Champions League trophy from Pep. They need it. But can you buy it? You can't just buy it. So I don't know if I've answered you, but for me, it's the support I get and from the club, from my family, from you guys. You guys have supported me in the media. The media with Mamelodi Sundowns, I must tell you, for the last 2 to 3 years, it has been unbelievable. Yes, You must criticize us if we do things wrong, but it's positive criticism. But I'm not saying it because you are here. We have a lot of positive media at Sundowns in relation to the league, in relation to the Champions League. You guys have supported us. And I'll ask myself, what has happened? Why we don't have so much negative media with the team? Is because we engage you. I'm always there for you. Always, one-on-one. You call me at night, you do what? You've got a story that you write that is not related to what? I'm always there for you. That's why you've supported me. Is that camaraderie relationship we have of we share and do that. And also you want to support South African football. We are representing South African football. It's not about Mamelodi Sundowns. We have to make sure that on the continent, Mamelodi Sundowns is there. Look at the history of the Champions League. Look at the last 4 or 5 years. The sub-Saharan countries, it's only Mamelodi Sundowns and TP Mazembe. And it's the North Africans. Confederation Cup, they are there. Champions League, they are there. We have 4 teams out of 5. 4 teams in the semi-final in the Northern Africa. We have 4 teams at this point in time in the semi-finals from North Africa. How are we going to deal with that? We need your support.
Very good question. I hope they looked well after you at ENC.
EWA.
EWA?
Yes.
Well, tell them they must continue looking well after you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, President. Velila from SAPC.
Really?
Coach, I listened to the President earlier on speaking about the youth and bringing up some talent. I remember, I think it was your second season, your first full season.
Yeah.
And that's when you started to refresh the team. You brought the billiards, you brought all of them.
Yeah, the young ones, yeah.
Is this the phase now to refresh the team? And how do you balance between this bringing up youth and also remaining competitive?
Yeah, you see, Veli, that's a good question. And I always like to reflect to what the best teams in the world do. If you look at the big teams, if you look at Man City, for example, how many young players do they have in the team? It's not very easy to have them in the team because the pressure is too high, expectations are high, and it becomes so difficult that we put so much pressure on the younger ones. But you guys, somebody of you wrote an article to say Sundowns, on average, has the youngest team in the whole league. You wrote it. I don't know how you came up to that. But I can tell you that we have a lot of players who are young, who are up and coming, and our best product that we have ever exported, which is Pesita, is in Europe. Where does it come from? From the youth. I mean, there's no good story like that. You know, it's the best story ever. It's not a Serena we bought and then he's been sold out. It's coming from the youth programs. So we have done very well. We have Keegan Dolly, who was loaned out to Ajax, and he's our player. He's back. Mucheka Madisha, Mkulisi. We've got a lot of young players. We've got Pakaman, he's 22. Keleto, who just helped us to go to the semi-finals of the Nedbank. We've got Rivaldo, he's 23 years now. So we've got a lot of young players, but yes, we've got the Kakana at 34, 33. We've got a Wayne Arons, we've got that, Dennis Onyango. But we are bringing in the younger ones to learn, because you can't just put them in. This is Sundowns expectations is not Ajax Cape Town expectations. You got to win the Champions League. So you can't have the younger ones all the time on the pitch. They need to learn from the experienced ones. And also you've got to respect the experienced ones because they've got the knowledge. No one can do something without experience. You need experience, you need to learn from them. So they're learning from the Kakanas, they're learning from the Onyangos, they're learning from the Wayne Arons. Yes, we know, we are careful about the age. We speak with the president a lot. How do we move away from having an aging team? Because if you don't refresh an aging team, you'll be in trouble. But it's not easy, né? You can't just do it overnight.
Okay, we're going towards closure, né? I saw a few questions, and as I said, don't worry. The rest of the team, the coach is here, and everybody else. Sorry, question? Let's take your question. Can we just exhaust the questions that are aimed at the coach, okay? Yes?
But this is between the two of you, unfortunately, Mr. President. can you tell us what is the recipe been for you that you've been able to keep a coach for so long, and he's been able to deliver a local coach for that matter, because when clubs look at who didn't keep a coach for 2 years, and what is it that they can learn from Sundowns, that for so many years they keep a coach and help him to deliver, how have you been able to do that? Can you give us a recipe, and also for the clubs?
Yeah. Well, Peter will answer that, because I think, is there any other question? Yes? We'll take that. Yes, another?
Yes, Coach, you're probably, well, if somebody has proved you, actually brilliant. You are one of the most patient coaches with teams, even with problems. I remember there was a time when Sundowns fans never wanted you at Sundowns, and looking at your history with Supersport, you spent about 6 years with them.
7 years.
7 years, sorry, with them. And at Sundowns, you've been there since about 2012?
7.5 now.
7.5 now, extending it with 4 years, which is the first in South Africa. Personally, I've never witnessed that happening, where a coach stays so long in a team.
He's still got a long way to go, eh?
Well,
there's somebody called Sir Alex Ferguson. So good question.
Yeah.
So continue.
If the president says what he says, I mean, who am I to talk about 7.5 years when Azam Vega and Alex Ferguson have hit 20 years? I mean, we cannot be talking about 7 years here.
Yes, and then with this edition, it means now you'll be the first ever longest serving coach in South Africa, apart from Jomoson. What is it that you are looking for now that you have found?
Jomo is my hero, you must be careful. Jomo, Teenage, Masterpieces, I don't know, all of Alex Shakwani. Which team you played for? Karankua, Sundowns or something? Sorry.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to now that you have found the stability that you've always spoken about, that you are stable, you are loved? What is it that Pizzo is drawing down, putting down, going forward with Sundowns, now that you've got this accolade that you are the longest serving coach in South Africa? And have you, with the new contract, have you actually wondered if you are the highest paid now in the continent and within Sundowns after all the international coaches that have come on board and before you? Are you looking at that? Is it something that has pondered your mind to say, am I now the highest? I mean, you know, we've had a whole lot of international coaches coming through at Sundowns and not doing as well as you've done.
I think the last part the president has addressed it on his statement of making sure that you look after the people that are working for you, because if you don't look after
I
them,
want to give you a bad example. Many years ago when I started, many years ago, when I came back from America and I started in football, I was started a company. And after starting the company, one of the biggest companies in the country came to me and said, what is the value of your company? And we were struggling. And we looked and we found that the value of my company then, which was a mining contracting company, was worth about 5 million. And then the board, the CEO and the chairman came to me. They said, listen, your company is 5 million. In a best case scenario, over the next 5 to 10 years, you will make what? The company will be worth 20, 30 million. They said, there is 200 million. We will pay you for a company that's worth 5 million. We will pay you 200 million. You must sign a contract with us that you will be locked in for the next 10 years, because we believe, that you are going to be extremely successful. So take your Mickey Mouse company, reverse it in our big company, and run our company. I looked around, I said, thank God my wife is not here, because if she saw that 200 million, she would have said, are you normal? The point I'm making, and this is very important, and this is, all of us learn, not just in football, but in business as well. We have to pay our people. They don't like us to pay them, somebody said. We have to pay our people very well. So, and you will lose them. And that's why I'm happy. We will always fight to keep the people, because they make us better. But sometimes you cannot compete, and you should not compete, because you are then looking just at yourself, and you are holding back somebody who really could have an opportunity of a lifetime. So all I'm saying, it's very important. You're asking how much do we pay, what, how much is he getting? And of course what Peter pays with the greatest amount of respect is confidential. But the point I'm making is that Peter's mind must not be on money. I don't, and let the others come and disturb him and say, we will pay you more money. So I've got other important things I should apply my mind on. So I should, and we should know, we have to. Because sometimes we brag and say, you see, there's this player, we pay more than anybody else. Be careful. You know, you pay more than anybody else for a certain time, but everybody's looking. And everybody wants, and not just players, but also coaches and employees as well. So all I'm saying is that it's not just about football, and for us, we cannot succeed without the best in our country and on the continent. So, you know, that's why when I see all these journalists who are smart here, I take their notes and say, I wonder how much are they paid where they work, you know? But of course, I'm not the one who's supposed to ask those questions, because they make us better than what we really are. So with your permission, I just want us to step aside and be careful. Pitso is not competing for the South African League. He is, of course. So you can't pay him what you pay South African coaches. You can't. Pitso is competing against the best on the continent and against the best in the world. And that's why I'm saying you've got to go to the bank and say, can you please extend my overdraft? You mustn't laugh, it's correct. Please extend my overdraft. And then some of the money that's supposed to go to your children for fun, you have to channel it more to, because when you see those supporters, but the last thing I want to say, remember, you've got to look at Mamelodi Sundowns within that broader developmental obligation and duty. Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Now, I'm told that we are going towards closure now. Somebody asked a question about, what about Mamelodi? I hope they can hear me. You know, Mamelodi gave us Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi will always have a special place, and there's a lot of things we are doing there. We've got one of our academies there for the young people that are doing good work. What is the guy's name that's running it now, Alex?
Veli.
What?
Veli.
Veli, yeah. Okay. So this is how I see whether to make sure that the leadership knows what's going on the ground. So if you say Spongile, I say, hey man, Spongile, since when is Spongile running? So Mamelodi, so that's why the first thing I did when I bought Sundowns was to put back the name Mamelodi. Because it was now being called, what were you calling it, Alex?
Sundowns.
You were calling it Sundowns. So I said, no man. So the first thing it was called, I said, it must go back. It's Mamelodi Sundowns. Because we should be proud and we should strengthen and build our relationship with Mamelodi in particular, but of course, with the whole of Tshwane and with the whole of Gauteng and with the whole of South Africa. So we will continue, because one of the things I did in the beginning was I actually wanted to take Sundowns out of Kurko and put it right in Pretoria and have a strong infrastructure in Mamelodi. And we will, part of the process is, we will continue with certain projects in Pretoria and with some exciting things in Mamelodi, but also Shoshanguve, Atteridgeville, and Tembisa, Diepsloot, of course, the whole of Gauteng. But we are now building infrastructure under the leadership of Jose Ramon Aleshenko. We are building infrastructure at Twerkop, which is focused on the academy. Because we have to think about Sundowns for the next 5, 7, 10 years. At the heart of that, we have to invest for the long term. We will never make money out of Mamelodi Sundowns. You know, and the intention was, you know, and the money we've put in there will never get back. But it's not about that. Because the family's view is, This is part of the developmental obligations we have to this country. Just like what we do in business, you've got to run your business. Of course, profits are important, but you've got a broader obligation to the workers, to the communities, because you are not judged by how much money you make or how much profits you've made. Profits are important, but how are you seen by ordinary South Africans based on their experiences? And it's not about good talk, but what their experiences are. So there's some exciting plans, and again, please, these are not short-term plans, these are medium. We're talking about the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years. Yes, you are the last one, eh? Or Mpashele? Mkhacha is the last one. Let's take your question quickly.
Mr. President, do those plans include HMPJ by any chance? The stadium? The first games when I bought Sundowns, I took them to HMPJ, and I was told that it's not safe. And the minute you tell me that a stadium is not safe, I'm paranoid. I don't want 80% or 90% assurance. I want 100% assurance. HMPJ will always be part of our plans long term. So if there's things that can be done there, we will take some of our games there. And of course, there's some big games that we cannot play at HMPJ. But we've got a unique obligation to HMPJ. And I would like to see, and we will use some of our own money if the government comes on board, and we'll do something there. Yes, Mpashe.
Mr. President, I've asked this question I'm going to ask. Maybe I'd love to get an opinion from you. That in the case we are not able to finish the season because of this coronavirus thing,
yeah.
What will be the closest thing to fair? Will we be giving Chiefs the cup? Will you be bothered by that, or what? If we can't finish, what will be the way forward?
Yeah, you asked me to.
Yes.
Okay. No. I can tell you my humble opinion. I mean, obviously, as a starting point, we'll be guided by the rules which relates to coronavirus in the country. All of us have to comply by that. I'll be guided by the decisions of the PSL and SAFA, and we will look at whatever decisions are taken there. But the key issue for us is we are looking at the Mamelodi Sundowns of the next 12 months, 36 months, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. That's the key issue. And the track record that Mamelodi Sundowns builds. Are you happy if we close? Okay. And then, yes?
George Maluleka, Mr. President?
Who's George Maluleka?
They said he's coming to Sundowns.
Listen, there are so many people who are coming to Sundowns. Eh? Who's the one that's coming now, you guys? Sorry, you can't say it, but anyway, are you making announcements? Have you made announcements?
No.
Okay. No, we will. I can tell you, and of course, the coach, you see, the coach leads not only the technical team and the president and the board, but leads the club in the identification of special players to Sundowns. And we will make the appropriate announcements at the right time. Of course, it's an ongoing. You have to continuously build the club. But the one thing is also correct what Pizzo says, be careful. You must not have too many players leave at any given time. You've got to look, you've got to have a plan 3, 5, 7 years, and then bring in new, young, fresh players on an ongoing basis. Are you happy if we close?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, those of you can go and eat, and the food is ready, né? And those of you who we have to give interviews, the coach and I, we are, private interviews, we are ready. Okay?
Thank you, President.
Last question asked. Keeping it, 3 minutes left.
We are giving you 2 hours of a press conference. 2 hours.